US ETFs versus Europe ETFs. If you live in Europe and you have tried to invest, you've probably heard people rave about US ETFs like VOO, VTI, SCHD. Then you open your investment app and you can't find them. It's not your investment app's fault, it's because of the European regulations. In Europe, we have rules that require investment funds to comply with something called PRIIPs. Basically, they need to provide a specific key information document called KID for retail investors. And most US ETFs don't produce these documents, so brokers can't sell them to us here. But you don't have to panic. There are European equivalents that track the same indexes. Let's break it down. The very popular one, VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, tracks the S&P 500, which is the 500 biggest US companies. The European equivalent is VUSA, which is the Vanguard S&P 500 UCITS ETF, and the CSP one, which is iShares Core S&P 500 UCITS ETF. So if you search for this in Europe, you will get them. VTI, which is the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, it tracks the entire US stock market, both large, mid, and small caps. The equivalent for us is VWRP, which is the Vanguard FTSE All World UCITS ETF. It's not exactly the same, but it is broader, covering global markets, including the US, tracks over 3,500 companies worldwide. And then we have the SCHD, most popular dividend ETF in the US. That's the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. It tracks high dividend US companies. The equivalent we have here is the VHYL, which is the Vanguard FTSE All World High Dividend Yield UCITS ETF, focuses on high dividend companies globally, not just the US. We have SPY, which also tracks the S&P 500 in the US. The equivalent for us is SPDR S&P 500 UCITS ETF. For IVV, which is iShares Core S&P 500 in the US, another one that also tracks the S&P 500, which our equivalent is the Vanguard and the iShares that I had mentioned already. They are all just different providers tracking the same index. The good news is, even though we can't buy the US domiciled ETFs, these European ETFs that I've mentioned basically do the same job. They just comply with the EU rules, so we can invest in them without breaking regulations. The performance will be very similar because they are tracking the same underlying indexes. So next time you see someone on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube talking about VOO or SCHD, don't get FOMO. You already know that we have the equivalent here in Europe. Just look for the UCITS equivalent available in your brokers or investment app and invest from there. I hope this video helps you, and I'll see you in my next video. Follow for more.